125 Inspiring education quotes that'll keep your desire to learn burning bright. The importance of education cannot be understated. It's what helps us adapt and grow. These uplifting education quotes remind us to stay strong and keep growing, learning, and adapting. And as this big list of famous quotes about education and learning reaffirms, education is the key to opportunity. From inspiring quotes about learning, which remind us that failure is a necessary part of the process, to quotes on education from some of history's most famous and influential leaders, these 125 education quotes will keep your fire burning. Read this list for the best quotes about education, quotes about learning, famous quotes about education, and more. After all, as Socrates said in one of the most famous education quotes of all time, education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Featuring the 125 best quotes on education. 1. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Socrates. 2. Man's mind, once stretched by a new idea, never regains its original dimensions. Oliver Wendell Holmes. 3. Being a student is easy. Learning requires actual work. William Crawford. 4. Education is not the filling of a pot but the lighting of a fire. W.B. Yeats. 5. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Mahatma Gandhi. 6. Don't just teach your children to read. Teach them to question what they read. Teach them to question everything. George Carlin. 7. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I will remember. Involve me and I learn. Benjamin Franklin. 8. Change is the result of all true learning. Leo Buscaglia. 9. I am still learning. Michelangelo. 10. It is not from ourselves that we learn to be better than we are. Wendell Berry. 11. Life is an open book test. Learning how to learn is your most valuable skill in the online world. Mark Cuban. 12. The more I read, the more I acquire, the more certain I am that I know nothing. Voltaire. 13. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Malcolm X. 14. All learning has an emotional base. Plato. 15. Education is a progressive discovery of our ignorance. Will Durant. 16. I never learned from a man who agreed with me. Robert A. Heinlein. 17. He who would learn to fly one day must first learn to stand and walk and run and climb and dance. One cannot fly into flying. Friedrich Nietzsche. 18. You don't understand anything until you learn it more than one way. Marvin Minsky. 19. Education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to another. G.K. Chesterton. 20. By three methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. Confucius. 21. The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you. B.B. King. 22. What sculpture is to a block of marble, education is to the human soul. Joseph Addison. 23. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Henry Ford. 24. A well-educated mind will always have more questions than answers. Helen Keller. 25. Everyone you will ever meet knows something you don't. Bill Nye. 26. Take what you learn and make a difference with it. Tony Robbins. 27. Your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude. Zig Ziglar. 28. A little learning is a dangerous thing. Alexander Pope. 29. Don't make up your mind. Knowing is the end of learning. Naval Ravikant. 30. If someone is going down the wrong road, he doesn't need motivation to speed him up. He needs education to turn him around. Jim Rohn. 31. To me, education is a leading out of what is already there in the pupil's soul. Muriel Spark. 32. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. Albert Einstein. 33. Never stop learning. Never stop growing. Mel Robbins. 34. Education would be much more effective if its purpose were to ensure that by the time they leave school, every boy and girl should know how much they do not know, and be imbued with a lifelong desire to know it. William Haley. 35. Being ignorant is not so much a shame as being unwilling to learn. Benjamin Franklin. 36. Education is the ability to meet life's situations. Dr. John G. Hibben. 37. The more you learn, the more you earn. Warren Buffett. 38. Anyone who isn't embarrassed of who they were last year probably isn't learning enough. Alain de Botton. 39. Learning starts with failure. The first failure is the beginning of education. John Hersey. 40. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Albert Einstein. Curious, not judgmental. Walt Whitman. 43. Nothing is a waste of time if you use the experience wisely. Auguste Rodin. 44. The whole purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows. Sidney J. Harris. 45. Try to learn something about everything and everything about. Thomas Huxley. 46. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Benjamin Franklin. 47. It is a part of the function of education to help us escape, not from our own time, for that binds us, but from the intellectual and emotional limitations of our time. T.S. Eliot. 48. We learn more by looking for the answer to a question and not finding it than we do from learning the answer itself. Lloyd Alexander. 49. That which we persist in doing becomes easier for us to do. Not that the nature of the thing itself is changed, but that our power to do is increased. Ralph Waldo Emerson. 50. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. Dr. Seuss. 51. 9/10 of education is encouragement. Anatole France. 52. For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. Aristotle. 53. The first half of my life I went to school. The second half of my life I got an education. Mark Twain. 54. Learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all yourself. Eleanor Roosevelt. 55. The human mind is our fundamental resource. John F. Kennedy. 56. The best teachers are those who show you where to look but don't tell you what to see. Alexandra K. Trenfor. 57. I am learning all the time. The tombstone will be my diploma. Eartha Kitt. 58. Life is a journey, not a destination. Ralph Waldo Emerson. 59. If you are planning for a year, sow rice. If you are planning for a decade, plant trees. If you are planning for a lifetime, educate people. Chinese proverb. 60. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Jim Rohn. 61. Even the genius asks questions. Tupac Shakur. 62. Education is all about being excited about something. Seeing passion and enthusiasm helps push an educational message. Steve Irwin. 63. The great aim of education is not knowledge but action. Herbert Spencer. 64. Education makes a people easy to lead but difficult to drive. Easy to govern, but impossible to enslave. Peter Brome. 65. The only person who is educated is the one who has learned how to learn and change. Carl Rogers. 66. Persistent questioning and healthy inquisitiveness are the first requisites for acquiring learning of any kind. Mahatma Gandhi. 67. Education without values, as useful as it is, seems rather to make man a more clever devil. C.S. Lewis. 68. A teacher makes himself progressively unnecessary. Thomas Carruthers. 69. They know enough who know how to learn. Henry Adams. 70. Recipes tell you nothing. Learning techniques is the key. Tom Colicchio. 71. People learn something every day, and a lot of times it's that what they learned the day before was wrong. Bill Vaughan. 72. A learning curve is essential to growth. Tammy Bieland. 73. Learning is not attained by chance. It must be sought for with ardor and attended to with diligence. Abigail Adams. 74. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Aristotle. 75. Never let formal education get in the way of your learning. Mark Twain. 76. You don't learn to walk by following rules. You learn by doing, and by falling over. Richard Branson. 77. If the only tool you have is a hammer, you tend to see every problem as a nail. Abraham Maslow. 78. Too often, we give children answers to remember rather than problems to solve. Robert Lewin. 79. You will either step forward into growth, or you will step backward into safety. Abraham Maslow. 80. Knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress, in every society, in every family. Kofi Annan. 81. Always walk through life as if you have something new to learn, and you will. Vernon Howard. 82. Learning is synthesizing seemingly divergent ideas and data. Terry Hike. 83. He who opens a school door, closes a prison. Victor Hugo. 84. Learning is like rowing upstream. Not to advance is to drop back. Chinese proverb. 85. It is impossible to begin to learn that which one thinks one already knows. Epictetus. 86. Education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela. 87. You can teach a student a lesson for a day, but if you can teach him to learn by creating curiosity, he will continue the learning process as long as he lives. Clay P. Bedford. 88. I am always doing that which I cannot do, so that I may learn how to do it. Pablo Picasso. 89. Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. Robert Frost. 90. Yesterday I was clever, so I changed the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. Rumi. 91. It is as impossible to withhold education from the receptive mind as it is impossible to force it upon the unreasoning. Agnes Replier. 92. The more I live, the more I learn. The more I learn, the more I realize the less I know. Michel Legrand. 93. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Martin Luther King Jr. 94. Education is for improving the lives of others and for leaving your community and world better than you found it. Marian Wright Edelman. 95. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Aristotle. 96. When you learn, teach. When you get, give. Maya Angelou. 97. You are always a student, never a master. You have to keep moving forward. Conrad Hall. 98. Learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous. Confucius. 99. Any book that helps a child to form a habit of reading, to make reading one of his deep and continuing needs, is good for him. Maya Angelou. 100. Children have to be educated, but they also have to be left to educate themselves. Ernest Dim. 101. Education is a continual process. It's like a bicycle. If you don't pedal, you don't go forward. George Weah. 102. I don't think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. Abraham Lincoln. 103. The aim of education should be to teach us rather how to think than what to think. Rather to improve our minds, to enable us to think for ourselves than to load the memory with thoughts of other men. Bill Beatty. 104. Making mistakes simply means you are learning faster. Weston A. Jagger. 105. I am always ready to learn, although I do not always like being taught. Winston Churchill. 106. Every student can learn, just not on the same day or the same way. George Evans. 107. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. John Dewey. 108. Study without desire spoils the memory, and it retains nothing that it takes in. Leonardo da Vinci. 109. Take the attitude of a student, never be too big to ask questions, and never know too much to learn something new. Og Mandino. 110. Man can learn nothing except by going from the known to the unknown. Claude Bernard. 111. You aren't learning anything when you're talking. Lyndon B. Johnson. 112. Learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of learners. John Holt. 113. What did you learn? Is always the first and best question. Oprah Winfrey. 114. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. Stephen Hawking. 115. It is not that I'm so smart, but I stay with the questions much longer. Albert Einstein. 116. Many highly intelligent people are poor thinkers. Many people of average intelligence are skilled thinkers. The power of the car is separate from the way the car is driven. Edward de Bono. 117. With every mistake, we must surely be learning. George Harrison. 118. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Aristotle. 119. They cannot stop me. I will get my education if it is in the home, school, or any place. Malala Yousafzai. 120. The learning process continues until the day you die. Kirk Douglas. 121. If you think education is expensive, try estimating the cost of ignorance. Howard Gardner. 122. Learning never exhausts the mind. Leonardo da Vinci. 123. Learning is a treasure that will follow its owner everywhere. Chinese proverb. 124. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. Buddha. 125. Develop a passion for learning. If you do, you will never cease to grow. Anthony J. D'Angelo.
Welcome to our channel. Disclaimer: this channel does not promote any illegal activities, and all contents in this channel is for educational purposes only. Our channel based videos promoting for educational tutorials, famous quotes of the world, biological, historical, and geographical facts, genius stories, and biography. Please follow or subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for more videos. Thank you.